Hello and welcome to Encourage Mindset. I'm your host, Ethan Vandehei, and today we're going to be talking about overcoming your nerves. It is hard to escape those moments in life when you are feeling incredibly nervous. Even if we plan ahead or rehearse, our body's reaction to being nervous can flare up in very uncomfortable physiological ways. We get that rush of adrenaline and our stomach feels like it's turning upside down. We begin to sweat and our cheeks flush. And some of us even develop a nervous tick in a bouncing knee or a twitchy foot or shaky hands or blinking too fast, or they just ramble a lot, like I just was kind of doing. But this fight or flight reaction is perfectly normal, although unsettling and at times quite embarrassing. Wouldn't it be great if you were able to calm yourself down enough, making it possible for you to get through any situation, no matter how nervous you become? Well, today I'm going to be talking about some great ways to hide your nervous behavior so you can tackle any nerve wracking event in your life. The first tip I want to share is breathing. Being nervous can disrupt normal breathing. Your breathing can become shallow or irregular. It is any wonder we often feel faint when nervous. Take a deep breath and find your normal breathing pattern. That deep breath will then help you relax. And number two, this one sounds very weird, but don't admit it. One of the worst things you can do is admit that you are nervous, because this brings the focus fully on you and those horribly natural things that are happening to your body is because you bringing up, hey, I'm nervous. And now you just made yourself have a whole lot more pressure, which then makes you more nervous. The third one is simply speak slowly. You're not in a rush to get all these words or this presentation quickly done. You're not in a rush. So when you're nervous, try to speak more slowly, because this makes you realize and think about what you're going to say rather than rushing everything out and it sounds horrible. And when you can slow things down, the chances are more people will be able to listen to what you're saying, and you'll be much better off to leave a great message and clearly understand what people were thinking about the message you brought up, and you can understand your message rather than rambling and then people are going, what did he say? I don't understand what he said. And then you're left with puzzled faces and you don't even know what you said because you were rambling. So speak slowly. Fourth is simply relax your body. Do a quick body check and purposely try to relax and calm your body's nervous reactions. Relax, you're panicked, tighten muscles, sit up straight, but in a relaxed way, not too rigid, and don't force it and look like you're struggling or freaking out or something. So make sure your feet and hands are calm and relaxed, no bouncing, taping, or just kind of putzing around. Relax the muscles in your face, and that way you're not frowning or not looking too worried. The fifth one I have is maintaining eye contact. Eye contact is critical because it addresses either you're nervous or you're not. And if you don't have it, it's showing that you're nervous. And when you don't maintain eye contact, you're looking all over the place around the room. Maintaining eye contact without staring is a good way to kind of look around the room, gather your thoughts, and just do well because it'll lessen your nerves, which is a good thing. So maintain the eye contact. I know it's a difficult thing to do. Give it a try, and it'll kind of change your way on speaking for a presentation in class or speaking at a meeting or just in general. Number 6 is ask a question. If you're feeling nervous and having a hard time getting your thoughts out, ask a question. The attention is all of a sudden on others and not you. So this will give you time to take a deep breath, calm yourself, collect your thoughts, and then that way you can articulate better what you are trying to say next. And 7, simply be yourself. Remind yourself that you're fine, you're just the way you are, and take the focus off everything going perfectly. Nobody in the world is perfect. I'm not perfect, my viewers aren't perfect, and the whole rest of the world for sure isn't perfect. Go into these situations knowing that you might make a mistake, and that is okay. You're human just like everybody else is in the world. Don't force a smile or tell a corny joke, and just let a conversation happen naturally and smile or tell a joke even if it is appropriate. Tell an appropriate joke. But yeah, just make sure you have a good time, be yourself, and that will make you feel way more calm and stress-free. And then you won't be freaking out and looking all over the room. So I really want you guys to be yourself, and that's the whole point of this podcast, is to be your best self. Number 8 is if you are still struggling because you've tried all those previous 7, according to Wood Brooks at Harvard Business School, you should turn your nervousness into excitement. Instead of being nervous and saying you're nervous, be excited and say you're excited. She observed a fake it until you make it effect on a study group who tried to hide their nervousness by saying they were excited instead. And sure enough, this group outperformed the group that admitted they were nervous. She believes that by channeling outperformed our nervous feelings into excitement, we tend to focus on positive outcomes instead of all the things that could potentially go wrong when we are nervous. So sorry, I kind of had to look at my screen a little bit for that. But basically, she's saying fake it till you make it. Act like you're excited. Be excited. Don't be nervous. Don't say you're nervous because then you won't perform the way you want to. Be excited about it. Showcase that you're excited. Go in there with that confidence and that swagger and be yourself and have a good time doing it rather than worrying about, I'm not going to do well, I'm going to mess up. That's going to create those nerves. And that's going to create either the shaky hands or the rambling or the big one, which is you're just up there looking scared and frightened. No, just go up there, be yourself, and say you're going to do well, and you'll most likely end up doing well, as Allison Wood Brooks kind of mentioned. So that is basically all I have for today on this episode of Encourage Mindset. But I really want you guys to implement one of these tips if you guys are trying to overcome some nerves. So, for example, the one that I really want to do is I want to work on admitting that I'm nervous. Sometimes I do admit that I'm nervous or I'm scared to do something or maybe I shouldn't do it. And that kind of puts yourself down and makes me nervous. I do that all the time. So what I've been trying to do over the past couple of weeks is like what Allison Brooks said. You got to have a certain swagger, come in there, be excited, and then you'll realize how much easier it is than what you made it previously because you'd freak out over time and time. But another thing is practice. You can never get enough practice. If you keep putting in practice and putting in the work, results will happen. So I'm sure you guys have heard of people putting in 10,000 hours to be successful at something or be great at something. I'm not saying you have to put in 10,000 hours to be exceptional at overcoming your nerves, but put in some time and some effort and results will be there. And you will be able to make a difference in your life for the rest of your life. I mean, if you start today, it'll eventually help you over time and make yourself a better person. So I encourage you, start today, look at one of those tips I mentioned and put it to use. If it didn't work, try another one. Otherwise, there is other helpful tips online that maybe you can find and maybe one works for you. But start with that deep breath, relax yourself, come in knowing you're going to do well. Don't be fearful and saying to yourself negative thoughts. Come in, be excited about it, and rock it like I know you guys can, no matter what it is, a presentation, a business meeting, an interview. It doesn't matter what it is. I believe you guys can do well. And that's all for today's episode on Encourage Mindset. Once again, this podcast is all about building up your confidence levels, helping with your mindset, your motivation, overcoming fears, overcoming anxiety, overcoming your nerves. And that's all for today. So thank you very much on this Wednesday, April 7th, 2021.